Good morning, David. How are we doing?
Well, Chris, it's a miserable morning. It's dark outside. I've had to position myself so as we don't get full glow of the ceiling lamp in the shot.
Yeah. And you haven't got the sun coming through the window?
We haven't got the sun coming through the window, no.
It's very much just on a headshot of you today.
Well, that's what I was asked to do, wasn't it? I can slightly bring it up. There we are. Is that better? I can't see myself very well because I've only got a little picture.
Oh, is that a good thing?
I don't know. I guess I could try and go into gallery view, but it'll distort the sound. Hang on. Is that too much body, do you think? I don't want to upset anybody. No, there we are. Done. Don't go for that.
Is that going to be the first vote from Dear Viewer? How much body of David do you want to see?
Yeah, well, we could go for that, couldn't we? We could go for that. I mean, I've only taken the advice of our maestro because he said less chest and more head. I think he realised that people were missing out on the sheer beauty that they could have seen rather than chests. But I don't want to make too much play of that because he might find some title to put in the title about it, mightn't he?
Yeah, I can already imagine some of the things he might come up with.
No, I try not to. I wait for the excitement because it's always an exciting moment to see the title.
Well, I don't think I have yet successfully predicted a single title for a single episode.
Well, I'm told that we never will because if we suggest something, it'll never be used. So there we are. So.
No, I know, but even if I thought something, it's never appeared.
Never appeared.
We always find something else.
That's because your mind is obviously not attuned to the maestro.
Obviously not. Obviously not. And we will, whether that's a good thing or not is another matter.
Well, we don't want too many maestros in this field.
No, we certainly don't.
Well, we're on our own again because the good Reverend Neary is having a well-deserved half-term break with her family. I hope she's been able to keep up her swimming. I hope she hasn't been put off by the wind and the rain or anything.
She did look cold the other week when she came Saturday morning.
Came to church. In a sleeping bag, yeah.
It was huge. It was a huge dry robe.
It's a magnificent beast. Well befitting a sea swimmer, I think.
Well befitting a sea swimmer, but I must admit, I don't think I've ever done morning prayer with somebody wearing clothes like that.
Well, there we are. You have to come to Beaminster more often. You'll be amazed at what turns up at morning prayer. You'd be amazed. I mean, we might have a camel onesie one day, or who knows? Who knows?
Is that you?
So today we're taking the opportunity to share with our viewers All Saints' Day, because the church can choose to celebrate All Saints and All Souls on Sunday because it occurs on Monday and Tuesday, and a lot of churches will be doing that. And so we're going to use a reading for All Saints' Day, which is a very well-known reading, I would have thought, even for those perhaps who wouldn't class themselves as up to date with the Bible as they may like to be. So should we take our pause? Mm-hmm. Perhaps have a sleep in the sleeping bag? And off you go.
John chapter 11. So when Mary came to where Jesus was and saw him, she knelt at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. He said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus began to weep. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Then Jesus, again greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, already there is a stench, because he has been dead for 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus looked upwards and said, "Father, I thank you for having heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I have said this for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go."
I love the story, don't you?
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Great story. You did raise a point just before we came on to the recording about the fact that it says that he'd been dead for 4 days and there was already a stench.
Yes.
Obviously, you'd been attracted to that sentence, but then you pointed out to me that you were doing a funeral later this morning of a person who's been dead for 4 weeks.
For 4 weeks, not 4 days.
Yeah. So we're very thankful for modern science of refrigeration, aren't we?
We are. Although I'm not quite sure St Mary Magdalene Lourdes has been refrigerated overnight.
Well, thankfully, I shall be waiting to do the second part of this ceremony back in Beaminster. I won't be there to have to open the door with you, but there we are. Yeah, yes, I'd love it. I mean, I noticed when you read, there was a sentence, but Jesus something began to weep. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. And that made me realise that weeping is included in 2 of the shortest sentences in the Bible, because the shortest sentence is Jesus wept.
Which is that sentence in the New International Version.
That's right, and there you got this same one, Jesus began to weep, which is just as short, except it's 2 words short but longer.
In English, but it's the same in Hebrew.
Yeah, there we are. They're marvellous. See? The education from this thing is amazing. Oh. Jesus wept.
Jesus wept.
Yeah, because of the death of his friend.
Because of the death of his friend, and because his other friends were mourning.
They were. I went to Crete a few years ago on my holiday, which was beautiful. And we went to a monastery. We were advised to go to this monastery up in the hills. I can't remember its name, but it was outside of where we were staying in Alunda. And I'd hired a car because Jane had got a bad leg at that point. So I hired this car, and off we set to the monastery, and we got there. And there was only one monk in this monastery that used to have, it was a seminary for Greek Orthodox priests. It used to have about 170 trainees and monks there. But there was just one who was the kind of warden of it, and his mother. And his mother used to attack the tourists, trying to sell jewellery to them. But the whole purpose of this story is that when we got there, we're looking around as you could, one of the chapels was dedicated to the raising of Lazarus.
Mm.
And there were all kinds of icons that there would be in a Greek Orthodox church and their little chapel. And there must have been 10 different icon paintings of that story, depicting it in different ways. I'd never seen so many toilet rolls wrapped around people coming out of caves or things in my life. It looked like it was fascinating to see how people in art depict the same story so many times.
I guess it's like we do on a Sunday, isn't it? They pick up an aspect and they'll focus on one aspect for their art. Just as I'm sure you and I this Sunday will pick up one aspect of this reading to talk about in the pulpit.
No, I personally won't. I personally won't, because I'm not preaching on it. Reverend Neely will be. We're together because it's the fifth Sunday, you see.
Oh, aren't you lucky?
No, because I will be preaching in the afternoon at our All Souls Memorial service, but on the passage from Wisdom, which is a beautiful passage. But there we are. Yeah, I think you're right. It is. I think that's the point. But this whole story allows me to show off my intense knowledge, in-depth knowledge of such translations and theology, as you can imagine, because it allows me to use my favourite word once a year about Jesus, about Nazareth being raised.
Go on then.
He was revivified.
Oh.
Revivification means he was brought back to life by Jesus, as were other people. How many other revivification stories are there? The young girl who was dying and had died, and etc. And what does it mean? It means he was brought back to life, but he'd still got to die the same death as we had to get to the new world.
There you go. That's put a smile on your face. Revivified.
Absolutely. I mean, every year when this story comes up, it allows me to show off for one moment in time. Revivified. It's a wonderful word, isn't it?
Shall we ask all dear viewers to give you a round of applause?
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you. No, I don't want to go quite down that way, because I can make an idiot of myself most weeks on these recordings. But I think it's a lovely... I think that for me, though, the key is that although Jesus did that miracle of healing or bringing him back to life again, he had still got to die again to eternal life through Jesus.
He did. The bit that struck me, actually, just as I read it this time, was it was later on in the reader. It says, "I've said this for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you have sent me."
Yeah.
So he's very focused, is Jesus.
Yeah.
He's just not turned up and, I'm going to raise Lazarus from the dead today. There you go. And then move off to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I'm going to raise Lazarus for the dead. How do I turn this into a real demonstration to those who don't believe that God is a great God?
Yeah, and I mean, that was part of the thing, wasn't it? People, a lot of the crowds, wherever he went, were asking for a miracle. Now, were they asking for a miracle because of the reason that they wanted the person raised again or the person healed or whatever? Or were they asking it as proof reasons, where Jesus often says to people, the lady who touched the cloak, and the blind man we talked about last week, your faith has healed you. They didn't ask for a sign. They just asked to be healed or made better or whatever. It's usually other crowds, as you say, who ask for proof. And the one thing that we can't do is ourselves is give proof in that sense, can we?
No.
I often say at funerals, as I'm sure you've done, I have no proof, about what is to come. But I do believe what I've been taught and what I've read and what God tells us. But I have no ultimate proof. It could be the biggest mistake I've ever made. I don't know. But faith takes me to believe that that's what God has promised and he will keep that promise. And that's what Mary knew. Mary knew, didn't she, that Jesus had the power. She was hoping for healing as opposed to a revivification, I would guess.
And it again.
I got it in again. But that's what she was hoping for, wasn't she? She was hoping that Jesus would heal him. And that's why she was so angry. If you'd have been here, he wouldn't have died.
Yeah. But doesn't
and only these ladies, women, it seems, could talk to Jesus like that, and get away with it.
How many times does Jesus do that? He exceeds expectation. Mary was beyond hope.
Yeah.
If Lazarus had been ill, I believe Jesus can come and heal him. Oh, now he's died. He can't. And yet, and I think that and yet, so many times when we feel we've lost hope, yet Jesus comes and exceeds our expectations of what we think he can do.
Right. So, as we're looking at All Saints, which is the reading that we're using, I always have to try and remember, of course, that there are different understandings of what we mean by all the saints. Some people think that saints can only be people who've done great acts or wonderful things, don't they? You know,
Or canonised by the Pope.
or canonised by the Pope. Yes. Do you know the Church of England have only canonised one person?
No, I didn't.
So there you are. You see.
And that was
Charles, not Prince Charles, King Charles. Again, a bit of my vast knowledge. I actually read that in a book yesterday by mistake. I was looking for something else. So there we are. Yes, in this wonderful book, which came out many years ago, celebrating the Christmas stories, and all into an introduction to the new lectionary when Common Worship came in, and it's been an invaluable book over the years. But it's All Saints' Day, and we often think that saints are people who did great things. But of course, then we have martyrs as well, don't we? You know, martyrs gave their life for their faith. But in Paul's writings, when he refers to saints, and if I'm right, and I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but in Paul's writings, when he refers to the saints, he's referring to people who are coming to believe and follow Jesus.
Yes, that's the other end, isn't it? Jesus. Yeah. Paul refers to all believers as saints.
That's right.
Because of the glory we've got to come.
Because of the glory we've got to come, which is what I was looking for, because on Sunday, being All Saints or Souls Tide, we begin what has become a fairly new season in the church's year, which didn't exist, which is what I was reading in that book yesterday, of the Kingdom season, which is the kind of lead up from now, all these kinds of remembering weeks, All Saints, All Souls, Remembrance Sunday, Christ the King itself at the end of towards the end of November, and then we've got that time of Advent.
Yes,
and actually we're looking backwards in effect, aren't we, from life to death as opposed from death to life.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I hope so.
Made me think there.
Yeah. That's a dangerous thing this time of the morning, Chris.
It's a dangerous thing this time of the morning. You made me think.
So All Saints is the beginning of a new time.
Repeat what you just said. We're going backwards from life to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't want to gloss over it too quickly.
No.
Because it's quite an important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because because Christmas is all about new life, isn't it?
It is.
And in effect, we're looking through the darkness to new hope, but featuring on light, on what is to come. And actually, we're starting with death and remembrance, and all those stories of Advent hope. So All Saints to me is a great thing, because we have some great hymns for All Saints Day, some very long ones as well. I should insist on singing all verses of For All the Saints.
For All the Saints.
Yeah. And from their labours rest.
Will you succeed?
Oh, I have there'll be no choice. I'm in charge.
Let me just unplug my phone a minute. Hold on.
No, and Reverend Neary has asked for all verses of it because she likes it as well, you see, so as we're together. And I have told Mr. Nardone, the organist, that that's what we want. And he groaned, but being a faithful servant, he will do as he's requested. So All Saints, very important. We remember those who have died as well, because of All Souls, and we remember the glories that is to come, as you say. But Lazarus has still got to find that out where we are in the story, because he's been brought back into this world to have to face all the hardships and worries that we still have to face today. In the hope.
I'm actually doing things the wrong way round this year, because we've got our All Souls service where we remember those that have parted.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Good. That's not a problem.
We do it on Saturday, and then on Sunday is the All Saints Day.
You did say parted, didn't you?
Parted?
Yeah. Do you mean died?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just checking. I thought
you were going to use that to say not revivified.
Ah, well, see, now you're getting
the
in.
third attempt at getting that word in.
No, you've done it for me, which is excellent. That's very good. You're learning, Chris. You see, you're learning.
Words in my mouth.
It's only taken you almost 12 months of doing this these things to
It must be nearly 12 months, because I've got a feeling you used that word revivified 12 months ago.
Oh no, Chris, I'd never have done that, would I? Any opportunity to get... So you've used it twice now as well. So you're getting it.
You know, I only started when Joe went on sabbatical in January.
You did. But that's almost 12 months now, if you think about it. Well, it's 8 months, 10 months.
10 months.
So there we are. So All Saints and Lazarus, but life and death and the hope to come.
Life, death, the hope to come.
And giving thanks for the glory that God holds for us when our time comes.
Amen.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
you, viewers. Next week is a very, very special event. It's the 100th recording of Reverend. And Reverend Neary will be back to share it with us.
Yay.
And that means it'll be... Won't be Remembrance Sunday. No, it can't be Remembrance Sunday. It'll be the week before Remembrance Sunday.
Yeah, Remembrance Sunday is not until the 14th this year.
Oh, that's right. So we'll see what the reading throws up. But thank you for watching. You can follow us on everything at the Beaminster Team, which will appear at the end of this chat. Harry will make sure it all goes there. Facebook, Twitter,
Instagram,
but not TikTok in the Beaminster Team.
No, see, I do TikTok, but not Instagram.
There you are.
So we're all balanced.
We're very balanced. We have a broad network. And you can follow Chris all the time. You can follow Chris and his team on...
Eggardon and Colmerchurches.org is the website, which would also lead you to our Facebook page. It will lead you to our TikTok feed. And there is a YouTube feed as well.
Fantastic.
We are there. We are in the ether, on the internet, worldwide broadcasting.
One cannot say any more than that. Worldwide broadcasting makes us sound like the BBC. Free to air.
Free to air.
Make sure you buy a license if you're watching something on the television.
There we go. Right, I must go.
So must I. I've got lots to do today.
You've got a busy day today.
Including straight after this, recording the Dress for Sunday's recorded Beaminster Team service. So I hope to see you again there as we think again a little bit about All Souls and All Saints. Cheers, Chris.
Thank you.
Good to see you. I will see you later. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.